Hey, y'all. Welcome back to Shay and the Good People. I'm Shay of the Good People. We have a very good person with me. This is Matt Rodin.
That's me.
This is Shay and the Good People. It is a podcast pairing. If you've never listened to the episode before, there's a podcast pairing to the live music show that I do called Shay and the Good People that I host in Brooklyn. I'll do original music, and then I have two to three different singer-songwriters on Shay and the Good People, and then I have them one-on-one into the studio, aka
my apartment,
aka Matt's apartment. So this is the incredible, amazing, heart-centered songwriter Matt Rodin. Thank you so much for being on Shay and the Good People. You did our April 11th, 2023 show.
If you say so.
That's where we were at.
I believe it.
You were coming from the Upper West Side into Brooklyn.
Yeah. And
to do my show.
Yeah, right. And I'm trying to remember like what was even going on at that time. I don't even know if I had booked. I think I just found out that I got rent. I just found out.
Yeah, I think you did. I think you had mentioned it's something that I love producing my own shows and having people on my shows.
Yeah.
I love performing. I love having an opportunity to be like, hey, come see me and other people. I have a hard time being like, come see me and my show and just me all the time.
Same, always.
And the downside is like I don't get to super hang with folks.
Right.
Sometimes there's a hang after the show, but it's hit or miss. Sometimes people who are on the show are like, I gotta go back home.
Yeah.
And some of the younger kids maybe that I have on the show.
That's
like,
right. When you're 31, you're like, you know what? It's 11 o'clock.
Yeah.
It's past my bedtime.
Imagine being a 33-year-old woman hosting
Yes.
and wanting to hang afterwards.
Yeah, that's wild.
Yeah, that's an award.
That's bold.
Yeah.
Like I could not.
That's a Red Bull before the show.
Man. Wow. Yeah, I don't know. I'm trying to think of the last time I had a Red Bull.
It's not good. I remember having a Red Bull.
That's very college for me.
Yeah. I don't do it a lot. I do love coffee. I'm addicted. But I remember
you are a coffee person.
Yeah, I'm a coffee.
I'm a matcha girly.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, with oat milk.
Yep.
Knew it.
Yep.
But that's how I know you're incredible. It's like you wouldn't just do it with like
whole milk. Although I will tell you, I am considering diving back into whole milk because I eat whole milk yogurt because it's like really good for you. Like the pre and probiotics. I'm talking like I know what I'm talking about.
Kefir, is that different?
Kefir, I think it is different. It's what I give my dog. My dog gets kefir every day, so that she gets probiotics.
So that those poops are solid.
That's what I'm saying. But I am considering trying to like slowly work whole milk back into my diet.
Now, whole milk is different than a whole milk yogurt because you don't get the L dot and then a hard word to say.
Right,
L dot, you need all of those.
Interesting.
So I don't know your life. Maybe you just want whole milk back in. But milk is different than a yogurt because it is how you say fermented.
Yes, right. Processed in some way.
Well,
right?
it has like the cultures, the live
the
live active
cultures. Yeah,
which
milk
is like
does not have that.
Is that our show too?
Some people drink raw milk.
Yeah, unpasteurized.
Yeah,
which is illegal.
It is.
Yeah, it's not FDA approved. Which like. LOL FDA. But yeah, it's because it can be dangerous.
Interesting.
I don't know food.
I'm like Jewish. I don't know that whole milk is going to be good for me.
Okay. I want to know, jumping off of Judaism.
Yeah, great. Love it.
Where did you grow up and how did... I kind of know how you started playing guitar because you said it on the set.
Yeah.
So tell me where you grew up because I don't know about that.
I grew up in the suburbs of Chicago, the northwest suburbs of Chicago.
Yes.
A town called Northbrook. It's in this area called the North Shore, which is like Northbrook, Deerfield, Glenview, Highland Park, which there was that shooting on July 4th last year in Highland Park. So that's like a fun-ish fact.
That's how you know it on the map.
That's how you know. Mean Girls is like based on my, like the group of high schools in my area, the North Shore.
Oh.
That's why it's called North Shore High.
You're Regina.
100%.
Yeah. Okay.
And what's his name? I was going to say Christopher Nolan because that's the only thing I can think about right now is Oppenheimer. But Ferris Bueller's Day Off and all those and 16 Candles. Those movies are all John Hughes is from where I'm from.
Yeah.
So like they filmed a lot of those movies, like the ending of 16 or Breakfast Club, you know, where he like puts his fist up in the air.
Yeah.
That's like the football field that's my high school's football field.
Whoa.
And like there's scenes in Ferris Bueller's Day Off there. Anyway, so that's where I grew up.
Yeah. But there's no Jews in those movies.
None. None.
But
although she isn't she? No, she's not.
In the movie?
No. There's nothing like explicitly Jewish about these people.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, definitely not.
Definitely not.
But that was like, I mean, even still, we don't have, like, I feel like I'd like to be on a campaign of like, for me, Kate Berlant is like, make Jewish women hot again.
Right. Yeah, right.
Because I feel like we had Barbara.
Yeah, right.
And then nothing in between.
Leah Michelle.
Yeah.
Does that count?
But she's like a famous musical theater, but she's not like hot.
Right, understood.
Like
yeah.
fuckable.
Kate Berlant is hot.
Kate Berlant
Is hot.
And also, yeah, goofy and weird and smart and hot.
We had like, it was like a 50-50 split, I feel. That's probably not accurate, but it felt like a 50-50 split in terms of like Jews and non-Jews where I grew up.
Oh, okay,
so
cool.
There were a lot of Jews around. I went to many, many bar and bat mitzvahs. My mom was a bar and bat mitzvah planner. She only did bar and bat mitzvahs, never did weddings, only bar and bat mitzvahs. Whoa. So I've been to enough bar mitzvahs to make up for everyone who's never been to a single bar mitzvah. Like, and I've also, this is another like tangent, but I've worked like every job you could possibly work in the bar mitzvah industry.
Me too.
Oh yeah. Like everything. Planner, dancer, I've done not catering, but I've done like food,
wax hands, sand art.
Oh my God.
Tattoos.
Oh my God.
Temporary tattoos.
Have you done the spray
paint? T-shirts.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah,
I worked for,
wow.
That's like how I had money in college.
That's a good gig.
Yeah. Friday and Saturdays. Because I didn't really I went to school for theater too. I didn't really get any part in a show until like like sophomore, junior year.
Yeah.
So like those first 2 years, I got connected. My first gig, I got connected to this entertainment company. Shout out Karen Carbone. She like really helped me out. And I had money to eat during college and
That's
pay
huge.
rent. Yeah. So my first gig was Lady Gaga impersonator, where I went to a bar mitzvah and lip synced to 3 Lady Gaga songs, and I made $300, and I thought I was a fucking millionaire.
That's like for a college person, you're like, yeah, that's an easy gig.
Yeah, and I kept following up, and I was like, I like have evenings free, and I have weekends free.
And so they started just giving you other little jobs.
I did all of those like. We did like the fun things at bar and bat mitzvahs.
Yeah, that's fun.
Yeah, but I love like the image. I don't even know your mom or what she looks like, but I love the image of your mom.
She's gorge.
Oh, I can imagine.
Yeah,
I mean,
gorge.
because you're gorge.
Thank you.
So like hot Jew mom.
Yep.
And like with a clipboard.
Yep.
Like a clear clipboard where it has a drawer that you can pull out underneath that has the
intense.
pen.
That's intense. That's intense.
I feel like I've had those. I love having a clipboard at like event. I don't have one at Shay and the Good People, but the bigger shows that I do at Base and Socials, I love having the clipboard and like a
little earpiece. Yeah.
Earpiece.
The whole thing.
We don't have the budget for that yet, but
one day.
But I do go like this. There's
just
nothing in there.
Just to pretend that like
I'm like Emily she's
somebody
my producer.
you're talking to yourself. And I went to the camp that I went to, which is where I learned guitar.
Yes.
It was like a Jewish camp, but it wasn't Jewish. It was like pretty much all Jews that went. Everyone that went there was Jewish, basically, but
you didn't have Havdalah?
No, like there was nothing. There was nothing religious about camp. In fact, we actually said. They called it grace before every meal, but it basically was like someone like read a quote, like a famous quote. But there was nothing Jewish about the camp, other than the fact that the camp was owned by a guy named Mike Cohen. Like it was like all Jews that was there. Anyway,
the quote was like only from Jews. Like
no, absolutely not, absolutely not.
Only like Leonard Cohen. That's the
oh
only
God,
Jew I can
imagine?
think of.
That's the one Jew. No, so it was. So I was at camp when I was like 10.
Were you bar mitzvahed?
Yeah.
Okay.
At 13.
What was your?
I couldn't tell you.
Okay.
I got no idea.
Did you sing?
Like my Haftorah?
Yeah, I mean we have to do that. But
yeah.
like, did you sing like as part of this
ceremony?
I wanted to say ceremony,
Fine.
but that's not what it is.
The service?
Service, yeah.
I don't remember.
Okay.
Not like anything other than what I was supposed to sing.
Okay, yeah. My Haftorah was about leprosy. That's what I remember it being.
I wonder if I could figure out. I don't know if I could remember what mine was about.
Yeah, I also have not trauma, but like because of where I was living in middle school and also my parents' divorce, I didn't have my bat mitzvah until 15. I might have said that on the pod before. So I was like, I'm so fucking adult. Like only 2 years older than like most people's bar and bat mitzvah.
Still, that's a lot. 13 and 15 is very different.
So different.
Yeah, that's very, very, because also isn't that like middle school, high school? That's like that's a big shift.
High school, yeah, and like tits were in.
Right.
And but I still had braces.
Did you have a party?
We had not a party, but we had a luncheon. It was Saturday morning, and we couldn't afford. Well, my mom couldn't afford a party. Also, like finances, money is so weird. Like my parents spent all my sister and my's college money on lawyers, so that also meant that like when it came time to our bat mitzvahs, my mom was like, well, we can do like a DJ and like a tent, and we had like finger sandwiches that I think like somebody we know made.
You're traumatized from this.
This is just the beginning, sweetie.
I would say that's only the tip of the iceberg,
honey. If you've listened to any of the podcasts, you know.
This is therapy for you. That's actually what this really is.
Oh, this is like deep plant medicine work on feeling worthy. And like even coming over here, I was like, because also this is not about me. I want to talk more about you.
I know, but I'm also a podcaster, so this is I got you.
But walking over here, I was like, started to go down the rabbit hole of like, I have to call Navient. I have to call my private student loans, because my parents were like, my mom, because my dad, he left for another family. So like he was around, and like, I love my dad. We have a great relationship now, but this is 18 years later.
Yeah, right.
But like, he was so focused on like getting his new family from another country here and in school. So he was like, I'll take you to JMU to see schools, but like, I think I had I'm also an Aries Jewish woman. I think I had a lot of people who were like, you can go to community college or you can maybe take a year off. And I was like, no, I'm going to have a BFA and I'm going to be
that's so interesting.
I'm going to be the greatest American actor ever. But that
very Aries of you, very Aries and Jewish. You're right.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, right.
And my mom was like, I think she has deep mental illness, but also she's borderline. Also, she was just like, feeling guilty and like, go achieve your dreams. We'll sign any student loan. So I have a massive amount of student loans. Walking over here, I was like, two things. I was like, I'm so grateful I get to talk to my friend Matt, and I need to call Navient to tell them like I can't pay them this month. Like money's being taken out tomorrow, and I have to call them.
If the student loan suspension is over, right?
They're private loans. So you didn't even have I didn't have a break. I had to keep paying. But like, I'm going to figure it out. Like,
honey, it all works out in the end.
And this is why I want to sit down with everybody, not to talk about me, but to be like, the most important thing about this podcast, because I want to know who you are, but also like you and I are still here. We're not leaving the city.
No.
This is a very niche.
I came back.
Yeah.
Like we were in Arizona for 14 months during the pandemic, and we made a very distinct decision.
Yeah.
We moved into a house. We had a car. We had a backyard for the dog. Like
we're in Phoenix?
In Scottsdale.
And
we were like really doing it. We were going to give up this lease. Like we were really there. And I like had a full breakdown and was like, nope, I'm not ready. And we made a decision to come back, and it was one of the hardest decisions we have ever made, and it was by far one of the best decisions we ever made. Like, it was totally the right thing to do. And the way that my life has like blossomed in the last like 2 years since being back here has been like truly beyond what I could have possibly imagined. Ready? Yeah, okay.
I sing something unoriginal. I hope that's not unforgivable. I'm just caught in the tides of my mind, wading through the water for another round. 'Cause it's all a game I play with my own conscience, questioning my competence. Jump to the left, slide to the right, a cognitive involuntary cha-cha slide. Trying to take a break, try to take a breath, try to take a moment, try to let emotion do its thing. Wanna start over, I wanna get closure, wanna know that what I'm saying resonates. This song's a window to nowhere, and I'm using the illusion of hiding. hiding. So I help it grow, let it flow, take it slow and do the show. Try not to beg, steal, don't borrow. Bring it back, sneak attack, mediocre maniac. What's the point of trying to act like I don't got a bigger plan? I'm not a brand, I am not a man, I am being used, I am whole. So are you, I don't need answers, but I ask questions. Trying to break apart all my perceptions. Playing the game, playing it cool, playing hard to get. Won't tell you if I bump spike. I said I want you to be surprised by what's in front of your eyes. Find the meaning of the movie that you made in your mind. This song.
Also, this is something amazing about New York is like you just open yourself up to all the inspiration in the world and access to people and right time, right place.
Oh my God, it's the smallest world.
And if I can get out of my own way and just allow the like connection and the magic to happen.
Yeah.
I often struggle with that being back and like often let a lot of scarcity and money come in. But the campfires was really cool. And I felt like, I think I said when I was there, I was like, I feel like a rabbi. Like, cause I was like, it
is very
this
that.
is like so far, but like at Burning Man.
Yeah, oh my God, that's the perfect, that is literally, that's the biggest compliment you could possibly give me by saying, because that's exactly what I say. It's like a more spiritual Sofar sounds.
Yeah.
Which at that time, I had been to Sofar shows, but I never played Sofar shows before.
Oh, okay.
So when I came back to the city after the pandemic, first of all, the coffee shop that I had been doing the campfires in was closed.
Yeah, Lower East Side.
The Grand Ole Cafe. And so, but I was like, I want to play gigs and I don't really want to have to go through the work, as you know, which is a lot of like organizing an event. So I got in touch with the Sofar people who I'd already been in touch with because of Campfire.
Yeah.
And I started playing Sofar shows. So since like, oh my God, since like October or November of last year, I've probably played like maybe 20 Sofar shows. Like I was doing like 2 or 3 a month basically. And it was amazing.
Yeah.
And I have loved, it's been awesome. Like it's been, again, same thing that you just said, like opening myself up to connection and also having the, like, there's something really cool about walking into a space where I know absolutely nobody.
Yeah.
Nobody. And I just like am myself. Like it's really good. I find it like very, very good practice for, auditioning in one way, but also like life and just like meeting people in general, that like I go into these spaces and I am very much like unabashedly myself. Like I'm just like, I'm going to do my thing because these people, if they want to see me again, they will. And if they don't, they never have to see me again. But for these 20 minutes, they got to sit and fucking listen to my shit.
That's right.
Yeah.
And there's something, I mean, shout out to Grace and Pooja and Angie, who similarly, I've been playing a lot of Sofar shows this year.
Which is cool to see.
So cool. And like, they're always so communicative. Those are the folks who are booking everybody and they book for the whole region. And like before I got on a Sofar show December 2019 because I had my first EP out. And I think because I had something and I had Grace's email and I got connected by a couple people, it is hard to get
hard.
in. And
Yes.
I know that a lot of people are like, I'm really trying to do Sofar shows. And I'm like, I'm happy to connect you. And also just like keep sending your stuff and keep doing your own shows. And I think a lot of people who don't get to do it or haven't gotten to will like, just like criticize Sofar for like the amount of money or whatever they have to say. And I don't feel like that at all. If anything, it is like opened me up so much to like, I think there's something about if you take the fucking pressure off of musicians and comics too, probably
to pull people. Yeah.
Allow people to allow people to come into the room. It has nothing to do with me.
Yep.
I don't know who's going to be there. I don't know who's going to be
my back.
Yes.
Huge.
It allows me to fully be myself and just open up and glow. And but I'm not going to wait for a gig ever. Like I'm always going to put something together. That's you as well.
Yeah, for sure.
Which is like why I think we were so drawn together. And I just have so much respect for you because you also have that same Jewish-Aries hustle.
Oh, for sure. For sure.
And also I fully respect people who don't want to do that.
Well,
and
it's also a lot of work.
It is.
Like, even we're talking about making a podcast. Like, I give so many people so much credit because they're like, I want to do a podcast, but I literally don't know how.
Yeah.
Like, I do every single piece and part of the podcast.
Yes.
I'm recording, I'm editing, I'm doing the graphic design. Like, I'm doing all of it. But that's also because, like, I'm a control freak and, like, I can't give up any piece of that. But it's a lot of work. And so is booking your own shows and organizing. Like, it's hard.
I know. Also, I have not said yet, Matt hosts a podcast called The Come Up. So you should listen to that.
Yeah. That's nice.
I should have mentioned that at the top.
Campfires are basically what you were saying, a more spiritual so far.
Yeah.
That it's just like a little bit more, there's a little bit more intention. And
is this something you want to do?
Campfires?
Yeah,
yeah,
soon?
for sure.
Okay.
I mean, like, I think my dream would be, or at least it was, to be able to like tour campfires around. But
that's what I want to do with Shay. Yeah,
of course, because it sounds like a dream.
Yeah.
And listen, I also love. It's interesting because I'm in a very different place today than I was even like 6 months ago when I was just doing so far shows basically all the time. But you know, I love being myself.
Yeah.
Like, I really enjoy.
What does that mean?
When it comes to performing and like doing so far or playing gigs, like, I get a real kick and a real thrill out of being me, like, about not having to like put on anything. Like, there's something so comforting, and the jobs that I've most enjoyed theater wise are the jobs where I feel like I am like bringing a very specific angle or part of myself to that job, that I feel like I can embody it in my own way and like be me playing this role.
Yeah.
And so the gigs, like with music, the reason I love playing music and doing what I do, which is a lot of crowd work, like that's what I do in my stuff, is because I like being myself. I like really enjoy that. I find like being another person and acting like quite exhausting. It's not to say I don't want to do it. I do. And I actually really like, I'm finding I'm in a place right now that I've refound this love for this thing that I thought I kind of was done with. And now acting has like come back into my life in a way that I like was not expecting. But I think it's because of all of those gigs that I was doing and all that work that I was doing on just feeling comfortable enough with who I am and what my skills and abilities are. You know, I think I'll draw a parallel here. So basically, when I started doing these so far gigs, which is, again, not even a full year ago, like, I was going in and having that kind of imposter syndrome of being like, I don't belong here, or I would compare myself to the other artists, or like, you know, I don't know. It's just, there's like a doubt that like creeps in.
Of course.
You know, imposter syndrome.
Oh my God.
And not to say that that's gone, but as I did more and more gigs, that started to fade, where I would be able to be like, and honestly, this is what I wanted, and this is the reason why I wanted to do so far gigs, was because the more I did them, the less pressurized they became. It was like a random Tuesday, and I was like, yeah, I got a so far gig tonight. Like, it wasn't like this thing that I had built up to, that it was like, I have the show coming, I have a show coming, I'm so excited, I got to put the set together. Like, it was the kind of thing that by the end, it was like, what am I playing tonight? Yeah, I should maybe like run through those songs, or make sure like I just remember like the intros and I like know the first words of each song, so I can like know how to start the songs. Yeah. But it became, I just got so comfortable doing it, which is what I wanted. Like, I wanted to get to a place where it was just like, I could just show up as me and not feel like I need to impress. There's no ulterior motive. Like, I'm there to like be a part of an experience. And if one person, even if it's just me, like goes through something or feels something or asks a new question in their mind, like then I'm like doing what I was put here to do.
More like the communication and the relationship you have with yourself. Yeah. And like, it gets fueled with the crowd work that you were talking about, because it's so fun to have people on Shay and the Good People, because it's different types of musicians. And like, a lot of the people I have on the show are also actors or come from a theater background, but some of them are not. And it's really fun to see people's relationship to the audience.
Yeah.
And yours is so comfortable because of all the experience you've had. But also I think
that's where I like really thrive. Like
Yeah.
that to me is like my really sweet spot. And that's come from, I do think a big part of that is Campfires, that like it was me playing in front of a crowd full of boys and men. You know what I mean? Like, and having to like interact with people and on the fly. I also, because I did the Red Carpet Challenge for 5 years, which is that show I did on Broadway.com, interviewing people on the opening nights of Broadway shows.
Yeah.
And that improv aspect of like, you don't know what people are going to say. And I was playing like nonsense games with these people that I looked up to for a really long time.
Yeah.
To find like a sweet spot of like, oh, how can I merge all of my skills and abilities into like one thing? Like musical crowd work is like, or doing a set with crowd work in it is like very much that. And that's why like when I did Hedwig in 2019, 2020, top of 2020, like it was utilizing all my skills in a way that I had never experienced before.
Yeah.
And then doing hair was like the same kind of thing where like I was Burger and I was literally on top of people in my underwear, but I had no fear. Like there's no, like to me, that's like the most fun I can possibly have. Like I love getting to fuck with people. Like more than anything.
Yeah.
Because I like living on, or I like performing, especially like on that edge of risk. And that's probably because I think, and that's why I like doing these gigs so much, is because it's like, you don't know what's going to happen.
Yeah, totally.
And it's happening live in real time. And it's a reminder of the fact that like, we're alive. Like it, you know what I mean? Like
totally.
in the biggest sense, it's like, it's a reminder that like, this is happening in this one moment. It's only happening right now with this group of people.
Yeah.
And I think anything that can remind people or remind me that like whatever is happening is unique, that is like, I like get high on that. This song is about feeling so helpless that you're finally ready to ask for help.
Well, I'm burning from the inside. Something's heating up my mind. Would you believe in me if I told you he's my friend? A frequent potato on the couch inside my head. Oh, it's all a game. Oh, he'll scream your name till you don't recognize it anymore.
Yeah.
Like that kind of moment of what I talk about all the time, which is collective effervescence.
Yes.
Which is a moment of like,
you mentioned that in this set.
Yeah, everyone sort of realizing that like when it's like when you're in a moment together, the examples that I give are like you're people dancing at a club, like, and you just like feel the room. You're a part of something bigger than yourself. It happens at sports games, so I'm told. It happens.
Yeah, what's that?
I don't know. It happens at like a dinner party with your friends, and you're all laughing, and you're like, I'm having so much fun. That's become my new thing too. Is that like I say how I'm feeling when I'm feeling it. Mostly, I say like, this is fun. Like right now, like us doing this, like I'm having fun right now doing this.
The most fun.
Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But I think acknowledging that is so powerful.
Yeah.
At least I feel when I acknowledge that, like something changes in me, something shifts in me.
Yeah.
Because I become like consciously aware of how special a moment is.
Yeah.
And it reminds me, like I said, like that I'm like alive.
Yeah.
Which I need.
Yeah. Because we are.
Yeah.
And we don't have that much time.
Exactly.
Collective effervescence. I smell merch.
Yeah,
Honey,
I know. I'm
yes.
I'm like, there's not really, I think there's like one book out about it. So that's the other thing that's sort of like
Nobody
in
fucking
the
take that.
very back of my mind that I think one day if I was going to write a book, that would be
Hurry
probably
up,
what
patent that
I know.
quick,
I know.
BB.
It's not a term that I coined. It's a term that was coined by this French sociologist named Emile Durkheim, like hundreds of years ago.
Oh, he did.
He
It's
did.
fine.
He did.
Take it.
But I love talking about that because that is the thing that I like. I think that's what theater is too. Like that's what I love about theater
Yeah.
is that it's like happening live in a moment and anything can happen. And
Well, this is the thing that I feel really good about and not too worried about ChatGPT is like you cannot get an AI in a live music experience. And like, yeah, they can write songs. And I've definitely gone on there and tried it. Songs are absolute shit. And it's just words.
Yeah.
It takes a human being. And like, I don't know if it's different for comics, but like, in terms of why somebody can write in the style of Sarah Silverman, like,
Right.
yeah, that's freaky. Somebody can maybe write in the style of Shayna Blass and Matt Rodin, but nobody
Right.
can sing that.
Yeah.
And nobody can give the live person feeling
Yeah.
from a computer because it's totally different and we're still human and we're still going to need that collective effervescence
Yeah.
to keep going. That's how depression is cured.
You're telling me.
I mean, that's why we keep doing it. And also, like, in terms of the crowd work and music, that's why so many comics are getting huge followings and getting lots of views from just crowd work videos.
Yeah.
Like, because people want to be involved.
Yep.
And people want to be involved and I think it's so surprising when it happens in a music show when people are
my God.
involved.
People every so far show people are like, "Are you a comedian?
know!
Like, is that what you do?" And I'm like, "No, this is fun."
Sometimes, like, not to toot my own horn, beat, but I feel like people, if I make somebody laugh while I'm holding a guitar in between a song, they're like, "Oh, are you a stand-up?" It's
Yes.
like, I don't want to do that.
Yeah.
I love stand-up comedy. I would like to bring my show back where I have like musical guests and comics. I respect it so much, but it's not something I don't want to be without music. Like, I
Yeah.
can't imagine just me and a microphone. Like,
Yeah.
that's not the ministry that I'm offering. That's not my ministry.
Yeah.
But I do think there is and can be like a new, like, whatever we're doing is kind of new. It's not cabaret. It's not just singing. It's
Yeah.
not comedy. I like the interactiveness, and it doesn't even need a name or a genre, but I think that's what makes you super unique is that your willingness, not even willingness, you're like, and it's not need, what's the word, is like your calling to make sure that when you are on a mic in front of an audience, that they know that you know that they're there.
That's well said. Yeah.
Thank
I
you.
think, I agree with that. And I'm really proud of that. I'm like really psyched that gets communicated and that's like what and how people feel. And the thing that I love the most is, you know, in my sets, especially like at the So Far sets, what I've been doing is like, I tell stories, we do crowd work, and then at the very end, I sort of call in this collective effervescence thing, and all of a sudden, it's like surprising to people that like all of a sudden we go from this like funny to like not heady, but it becomes spiritual in a way. And it's not for everybody, and that's all good and dandy. But then there are the people that really it connects to them in some way, and they're like, "Oh my God, like I didn't even know that's where we're going." Like, I don't know if you're a Mike Birbiglia fan, but I think he's someone who's really brilliant at this. And I actually think that form is quite similar to like the thing that you're talking about, this like solo storytelling performance thing that's happening.
Yeah.
Which there's a huge renaissance to me, at least of that happening right now.
Who else is doing it?
Well, I think the example you gave of what's her name?
Kate?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I think Kate is brilliant at that.
Totally.
And even like someone like Bo Burnham has been doing that for a long time.
Yeah,
That like,
Kat Cohen
Yeah.
is like
Yep.
very strictly comedy,
Yep.
but I know that I feel like I
you
know
know
she
Natalie Palamides. I'm not sure. I'm not sure
I
how
don't know
to pronounce her
her.
name. So she's another one that's just absolutely. She's a special on Netflix called
Nate?
Nate.
Yes, I do know her, and I've seen that, and it's fucking brilliant.
So that is the kind of shit that like I like. Like,
Yeah.
I love that kind of edgy, audience interactive. What the fuck is going to happen? But it is speaking to something larger in
Yeah.
a way that's like, certainly mine's a little more heavy handed in the sense that like I say it outright.
Yeah.
But I'm now in my sort of interest, which I think you spoke to, is that like how how can I introduce music into that?
Yeah, and I think it's maybe heavy-handed because you have such a short amount of time. If you were doing like an hour-long set, like special,
right.
you'd probably be able to.
Which I think is the goal. Like that's
Yeah,
and I'm not afraid of saying that like the sort of long-term goal or plan is that basically I want to. So I released a live album in 2020. We recorded it in October of 2019, and I released it in March of 2020, like literally like right after the pandemic started. And it was me with like 30 of my best friends in my apartment, not in this apartment, in my old apartment on the east side.
Yeah.
And I just played a bunch of songs live, and that was it, me and a guitar. And it was exactly the way I wanted it because that's how I like doing it.
Yeah.
I think the next iteration of that is to do and film an hour-long special, basically, that is crafted and written and has an arc, and the songs are, intentional and part of it.
Yeah.
But it is one whole cohesive thing.
Totally.
And my goal was to do that in the fall. That is absolutely not going to happen because, well, by the time you release, you're not releasing this in the next like 4 weeks.
No, probably not.
Okay, great. Yeah. So by the time you release this, I'll be on the road. I'm going on tour.
Oh shit.
With company.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Yeah,
Announced here.
Yeah,
we have it first.
Exclusive. But I imagine by the time that this is out, like people will know this already.
You'll see it on the gram. Yeah.
Yeah. But so I'll be on the road with company for the next year starting in September.
Wow. God bless you for a tour.
Which I really wanted. And speaking to like the thing we were talking about before, like my dream was to take Campfire like on the road and go to different cities. I've always wanted a tour so bad. I grew up.
Oh, wow.
Because I grew up in Chicago.
Yeah.
I saw every national tour that came through. And so it's just always been, since I was like a little kid, I've always wanted to know what it was like to like be on the road with the show.
Cool.
And to get to do it in a Sondheim show.
With making money.
Yeah, ish. And and in a role that's like really so in my sweet spot, but also like totally outside my comfort zone. It's like I feel very, very lucky. All that to say, I won't be recording an hour-long special in the fall.
Yeah.
But my hope is that by the time the tour is over next summer, next fall, like that'll be something that's on my docket. And
cool.
and I also hope that like on the road, I don't know what my life is going to be like, and I'm not going to like pretend that I'm going to be like, I'm going to start playing gigs. Like I might be fucking exhausted.
Yeah.
But there is a piece of me that's like, oh, maybe I'll do so far shows in different cities depending on if what my days off are and stuff like that.
Right. What the show schedule is. That's super cool. I mean, I think about that all the time. I'm like, what's my Joe's Pub show? Like
exactly.
What's the thing that's like with music and a little bit of me? And I think I'm a little. I don't know. I haven't given myself time to. I haven't figured out like what is it? Like what do I feel like talking about?
I think
what do
you
I
have
feel
a
like
really
telling
interesting
people?
story to tell.
And maybe I just feel super vulnerable because it's like I also have a Scorpio moon, so I'm like it's gonna be dark.
I'm Scorpio rising.
Okay, after this we're getting out the chart.
That's right.
And we're looking at it all.
Aquarius moon. I'm very watery. Very watery.
I'm like so Aries sun, Libra rising, Scorpio moon. The good people out there listening know I've talked about this. I don't get to talk about astrology with everyone, and I'm sure some people listening are rolling their eyes, but I don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
So like that's a balance, but I have a lot of water in my chart. I have a grand water trine. So like the three water signs like form a triangle.
Wow.
Yeah. Which is intense. And Pisces Venus, which I know it's exalted in Venus, but like I'm also working at this retail store that's super spiritual, and like there's astrologers that come in and they're like, oh, you have a Pisces Venus, are you an artist? I've gotten that a lot, and I'm like, okay, I am living my design, even if I feel like I don't know how I can keep going. Like the fucking the like financial struggle is such a like pressure on my body, like into the ground, and I keep swiping it away and
here
moving
you
up.
are.
And like so many people have that, so many people are like continuing. Like I want to keep going to, if anyone is like, fuck, I don't have enough money for rent, but I'm still like, I have a show at Mercury Lounge. Like, can I do this? Like, yes, keep going. Like, you want to be.
I also just like don't think there's shame. Like, I'll speak for myself. I've carried around a lot of shame for a lot of years about like working other jobs or like needing like, and that unfortunately like that's not just us. Like,
Yeah.
there's many people that have to work 2 jobs now. Like, it's not just artists. And I I am fully planning on keeping my freelance work while I'm on the road.
Yeah.
Like, I am not planning on giving up my other jobs while I'm touring, because I like you, like, and like all of us, like a lot of millennials, like, I want that money. Like, I need that money.
Yeah.
So I am. Yeah. I really want to encourage people that to just take a deep breath, like you said in the beginning, and have some faith.
Yeah.
That, like,
we only have 24 hours in a day.
Oh my God, honey.
So like, just do what you can. And I was working my catering shift, another job I have, a catering shift at this spot in Soho, and there's a screening room there, and I really look up to Bridget Everett and Murray Hill, like, because they've been in like the scene doing their specific like work and cabaret and like just their own persona, and they never gave up who they wanted to be. And I did a show that Murray Hill was on years ago. We follow each other on Instagram, but I came out with a tray of sliders, and he comes out of the screening room and he's like, "Oh, Shayla." I mean, you know, doesn't say Shayna, but like, he knows exactly who I am.
Yeah.
And he was like, I thought you were in LA. And I was like, no, I live in Brooklyn. And I guess he might have seen something in my face, but he's like, don't feel bad about this. Like, I worked these jobs for a lot of years. Like, don't you feel bad about this? And it was like,
how'd that make you feel?
It made me feel like, in the moment, in the moment, I was like, oh yeah, no, this is fine.
Right.
I'm just doing this right. You know, I was like, oh, you're so sweet. Thank you, you know, playing it off. But like, that night I like went home and I let myself cry, and I was like,
yeah, good for you.
Just to be seen and recognized, and to be like, it's clearly like affecting me now. It's like, we're just not giving up. And like, I don't even know what the vision is.
Right.
Like, you might have, like, people were like, well, what do you want to do whenever I express frustration? And I was like, well, I want to do this.
Yeah, right. I feel you. Oh my God. So hard.
But it was just like, we really need that. Like, we really just need to be seen. And for somebody
all
to be
of us
like,
want that.
Yeah.
I think ultimately, deep down, at the core of everybody, is a desire to feel seen and heard.
Yeah. And I want to be that. If anything, like, that's why I want to talk to people who have performed on a show that I put together. And like, I know everybody that is on the show, like, we're pretty much all in the same boat. Like, we're not giving up. Like, you and I are in our early 30s, and people could say a lot of things about that. And we can look at other people who we went to college with, who went to high school with, who have these incredible gigs, or who have a beautiful place to live, or who have a family and are married, like, in my sense, and like, and are still kind of doing what they wanted.
Kids. Oh yeah, I know the whole thing.
Who are still, who are still doing the arts thing. And like, there's so many reasons for us as artists to look out into the world and be like, when is it gonna happen?
Sick of writing sad songs, tired of the fight, filled out all the pages, there's no words left to write. Giving up on guessing what I want and what you don't. Learning how speaking truth out can bring you back to where it started from. Love, that's you and me. Love, that's the way that we're supposed to do. Love, it's the only thing that makes sense when you're falling and you're fearing. You can hear it in your heart beating. Love, 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 love. No, no, la, 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 love. La, 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 no, no, la, 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 la. La 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 la.
And like, why hasn't it happened?
But
like,
what is it?
right? I mean,
You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
that's the question I have to ask myself all the time. Is like,
Yeah.
what is the it that I'm waiting for?
yeah.
And
Yeah, I mean, I guess I can point to like financial stability, being a full-time artist, living alone in Brooklyn, in this city that I love, and I know it's so expensive, but like that is a dream of mine.
And then what?
And being able to have a show that I don't have to be in the red for, that like people love and are coming to,
right.
that we get to tour, being in a Broadway show for fun, like because it's fun,
yeah.
and we get to work on that level, and we get to perform in that for that size audience, to have my own solo show, to have a team, to have that production team, and also to just wake up every day and be like, oh, I am fully supported as a singer and a musician and an actor, and I get to have all these other pieces in my life. And for me personally, like to have love, to like have a partner that I get to share it with, and maybe can help with some of the finances, but also if not, but also if not, like to share like life with. And I felt like, just me personally, I felt like I've had to really focus only on, this is a lot of like being scared of vulnerability. And like I got out of a relationship earlier this year that was pretty tough, and I haven't had the emotional stamina to try to date again. Like I'm kind of like, if it happens, it happens, but I'm really just focusing totally on the work. But I also know I don't want to wake up and just be working and not have given myself the opportunity for love. So anyways, I think we can always look at what we don't have.
That's right.
And it comes back to like, I've tried to make any So Far gig, any Shay and the Good People show like, oh, this is my next level. Like, this is the moment. This is present.
I mean, I was dying to do So Far shows 5 years ago.
Yeah, totally.
I was like, if only I could be doing So Far shows.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, and every, hypothetical or level up that happens, I'm always, well, two things. First, I'm always surprised how ratchet it is everywhere. Like it's ratchet at every level, and there's shit everywhere, and
there's shit absolutely everywhere.
Especially in New York.
On the walls. Honey,
it stinks here.
you better keep your shoes
That's
out
what I'm
the hallway.
saying. But, it's just like, it's a mess everywhere. And also, when I'm waiting for something to happen, like I'll be happy when, or I'll be comfortable when.
I know.
Then I just also know that like that's never going to happen for me. Like I'm going to get that number of followers on Instagram is never high enough.
No,
like
no.
But I think that's human. I don't think that's like a bad thing. I think that's like a very human thing for us to want more.
That's Buddhism. That's a spiritual practice.
Yes.
That's like, which we're at 46 minutes, but I want to.
I'm chilling.
Okay.
Let me just say this one other thing.
What you were saying, yeah.
So that's the one piece. And the other piece I was going to say is I have been surprised at every single turn of my life for sure. But as I've started to like really consciously pay attention to the opportunities that I've been afforded in the last, probably let's just even say, we could say 2 years, we could say 5 years, since I moved to the city, almost 10 years, like I've been surprised by relationship. Like I've been surprised at every single turn. And it's taught me, and I have to remember to like keep myself open to surprise.
Yes.
Because
stay open to the magic.
I'm not kidding. Like again and again and again, someone once said to me, what if it's even better than you can imagine?
Yeah.
What if what you're picturing is like not even the surface of what's possible? And I
totally
can speak to that experience, that like there are things that I have wanted, that things that I've gotten have gone beyond what I could have possibly imagined for myself.
Yeah.
I have to remember and try, like if my neutral state is gratitude and my neutral state is okay, that, I have and this is something I've worked on a lot in therapy, is that like, can okay be good enough? Like, do I have to be, and I think as artists and as Aries, we are so conditioned to, and especially as artists and performers and theater people and BFAs, we are conditioned to like want this high that happens when you get like applause or like you're on a stage and people give you compliments or whatever it is. And
that's American too.
For sure.
Yeah.
And I've had to like basically through the help of like SSRIs too, basically decrease the width of the frequency of the highs and lows of my life.
Yeah.
And if I can get in that middle zone where things are like okay or pretty good, like that has to be good enough for me.
Yeah,
and
totally.
I've had to get used to and like reacclimate to that reality because I'm so conditioned to want to be high all the time.
Totally.
And that's just like not sustainable. And the lows are so low after those highs.
I know.
And now like my goal, which is not easy, is to like, or I found isn't easy, is to like keep some semblance of stability is the wrong word, but it's kind of like
be pillared.
Yeah, grounded and like
grounded.
and grateful and be like, sure, trust me, there are things that I want, but also like I'm sitting here having this amazing conversation with you. That's all I know. Like I don't know what's gonna happen tonight. I don't even know what I'm doing this weekend. Like I don't even remember what happened fucking yesterday. All I know is right now, like I'm sitting here with you and like we have the opportunity and we're granted and we have the chance to like sit here and talk to each other regardless of what our other jobs are. Like we afforded and we made the time for us to sit down and do this and we're here. And I'm like, that's why I say things like this is fun. Like I'm having fun right now because if I can just acknowledge and ground myself in those moments, like I'm okay. And even when the moments are hard, like even when the shit is hard and I'm like spiraling out, I just have to say like, okay, like I'm spiraling out. Like this is what's happening right now.
Yeah. I mean,
and not resist, you know what I mean?
Totally. Staying present.
Yeah.
And I think that is like actually like a scientific trick for the brain. If you can acknowledge what's good is happening. And I try to do my practice is happy, thank you, more please. So I'm like, hey, universe, God, higher power, like this is awesome. However I got here, however you helped me here, like I would definitely want more of this. This is really cool because I will tend to, with my anxiety, I tend to just the spiral and like only focus on what's not going on. So I have written on my wall, what if things keep getting better?
Yeah.
So, but you have to keep telling your brain that so it looks, you know, if you're shopping for a Subaru Forester, you're going to see a Subaru Forester all around. So if you are shopping for good things in your life and gratitude, you're going to see that more.
Yeah.
And the last question I have for you, we didn't even talk about anything of your set because I have so many questions about your songs.
But I also feel like but also all the things we talked about are very much like embedded in the songs that I'm sharing.
100%. And
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. And maybe we'll have you back for like a part 2 because because I'm also curious about your writing style. But you know what? People can find you on Instagram and ask you about that listen to your podcast.
Yeah.
But my last question I always ask folks, because this also is like a music podcast on paper, but in practice, it's a spiritual podcast.
Yeah, right.
So like,
I know that.
What is do you have a spiritual or mindfulness practice that like grounds you every single day that you turn to?
Nothing that I can point to specifically. I would be lying to you if I was like, I meditate every single day. I journal every single day. I pray every single day. Like those are all things that I aspire to.
Yeah.
I think my spiritual practice, like I've said, is like acknowledging the moment. Like that, I think, is my daily spiritual practice.
That is so spiritual.
I think it is. Like, I really think there's something really spiritual about acknowledging the moment that I'm in. And when I say this is fun, or I'm having fun, or we're fun, it is a practice of gratitude. It is saying thank you to something larger than myself for putting us all in this moment and being there. So, you know, I haven't thought about that in that way, but I think that's probably what it is. And certainly, you know, there are spiritual, you know, things that I drip and drop in, you know, like I'm trying to start working out again. I do try to meditate every once in a while. I'm right now I'm getting really into reading, which I'm finding really like beautiful and quiet and simple.
Come on, read. Maybe you can teach me.
Yeah,
how to
I got a
read.
Kindle, and this is like a total tangent, but I got a Kindle, and I found out that there's an app that you can use called Libby that you can rent books out from the library for free, and you can
See
read.
what you learn here,
and you can
folks?
read as much as you want, and so that's
Wow.
changed my entire life.
That's
Not kidding.
fucking
In the last like 2 weeks, like
Yeah.
I blew through a book in like 4 days, and I
Hell
like
yeah.
don't read. So anyway, I do try to bring those spiritual practices in, and I also think like with my husband Sam,
I love that.
my husband
It's so
Sam,
cute.
you know, it's something that the other thing that we really try to do as much as we can is to speak in I and speak how we're feeling in that moment. So
Mm-hmm.
even if, you know, like he gets off a call for work and he's like flustered, and I'm like, okay, how are you feeling? And he's like, I'm feeling frustrated. I'm feeling angry, and I feel confused. I'm like, okay, I hear you. And letting that be like enough. And I think that is also very spiritual in just like speaking of what we were talking about before, of feeling seen and heard. Like
Yeah.
everyone, I think, really just wants to feel seen and heard.
100%. And
our
loved.
human instinct is to help and to solve. Especially, I know that's like for me, that's what I try to do with
That's what
everything.
our Jewish mothers taught us.
Correct. Exactly. And it's much harder to just say, I hear you.
Yeah.
I hear what you're saying. I hear you. And and just hold space for that.
Yeah.
And I find that to be really spiritual, to just like hold space for what someone else's reality is in a
Yeah.
moment, is a really beautiful spiritual challenge.
Yeah. That conscious partnership that you guys
And
have is huge.
acceptance and like
Yeah.
unconditional acceptance of where someone is at. Like that
Yeah.
is, to me, that is like the most spiritual thing you can do, is to accept your reality.
Yeah.
And then to accept someone else's reality
Yeah.
as their own is hard, but beautiful.
Yeah. And that's a whole other podcast of like how to
Girl,
be an artist in a relationship.
I go on for days. That's why I have my own podcast, because I just
True.
can't stop talking about this shit.
Called The Come Up. You can stream anywhere, Spotify
Yeah.
and Apple Music.
It's
Well,
again similar, where I'm like, we talk about theater, but like it's not really about theater.
no,
it's
no.
it's about like what it means to be an artist and a human being. Like
it's great.
Yeah,
it
thanks.
really is. And like particularly, I just listened to the Michaela Diamond episode because
We also recorded that in here.
yeah,
Yeah.
you were like, we're on our couch, but
Yeah.
Anyways, thank you so much for being on the show.
Such a treat.
On the podcast.
Of course.
You're so special. And stream, so go and stream Matt's live album. Can you tell the people where to find you on the socials?
Yeah, I'm everywhere. My handle on everything is at who is Matt Rodin.
And go and find out.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Matt Rodin
I'm not
is.
sure. And I also also love the idea of someone being like, who's Matt Rodin? Like,
Yeah, no, at who is no who is no at
who is Matt
Yeah,
Rodin?
that's good banter.
because
yeah.
and also like people don't know who the hell I am. And I'm like, let's just like lean into that a little bit.
Yeah.
You know, on the press release of Rent, it was like all these people and more. And I
Yeah.
posted, I was like, I'm and more. Like I'm so proud to be and more.
Yeah, 100%. And
Yeah.
like we love a little mystery because come figure it out.
Who is?
You're incredible.
I adore you. Thank you for this.
Love you so much. This is not the end.
No.
But come see the show live. Shay and the Good People.
It's a good fucking time.
Yeah, it's fun. Thank you. Yeah, 3 different. If you get to come see people perform, and then you can come back here and learn a little bit more about them, and I get to learn a little bit more about them. And we're
That's smart. That's a good idea. That's a really good idea.
I know, thank you. So we're at Shay and the Good People on Instagram at SHAY, and just how it's all spelled. And I'll see you at the show. So yeah, thanks. Bye.
Bye.
I tend to forget where we've been until I check our review of all that we've been through, and I wanna know if you're up for the fight, if you're ready to go, if you see the same light at the end of the road. When it's all said and done, if I'm standing with you, I'll have already won. Oh, the years, they will pass. We'll all raise a glass to the one and only love. That's you and me, love. for the meaning of this life that we've been given. Look inside, you'll find it's written in love. Love, 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 la, 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 la. La, 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 la.